Morning, everybody. My name is Jared O'Leary. I've been playing drums since 1998, and most of that has been rudimental concert percussion, only a wee bit on the drum kit, but we're going to be working on that today in this morning's stream. Now, in all of these practice streams, I keep up the full stream live, so you can take a look at how I practice stuff. There's over 300 videos in this particular playlist on YouTube, and I include timestamps in here showing what I worked on, or giving you just like a quick title for what I was talking about or the question I was answering. Speaking of, sometimes people will come in here and ask me questions because I've been drumming for a long time. I have a bachelor's, master's, PhD in music education, blah, 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 blah. So people ask me some questions. I will then sometimes edit those questions down and put them in this drumming tips playlist. There are over a dozen hours of free tips in here talking about a variety of different things if you are interested in learning about that. Now, all of this stuff can be found on my YouTube channel, but if you go to the first link at the top of each one of the play-alongs, it takes you to here, /drum on my website. There's 55 chop exercises, over 900 grid variations. There's all these drum charts, 55 of them for both straight and swung. We're going to be working on that today. There's just under 400 marching bass exercises, just under 300 technique exercises, and then here's all the tips, the practice sessions, and the lessons that are like the scripted lessons. More of those coming out in 2025, so stay tuned for that. But if we're going to be playing Limb Independence, we need to get motivated here with Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf, help me out here. Do it. Just do it. Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it. Make your dreams come true. Just do it. Some people dream success. Well, you're going to wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit, and you're not going to stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it. Just do it. Yes, you can. Just do it. Hello, Owami. Welcome. If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. Oh, yeah, I'm so motivated to work on Limb Independence now. Thank you, Shia LaBeouf. Look at that flex. Okay, so I've got all these Limb Independence patterns, and they're inside of this Drumming Progress Journal. This Drumming Progress Journal is based off of this book. It's called 50 Ways to Syncopation. It's by Don Moyle. I highly recommend this book. It is very good. It's got 50 different ways to play through Ted Reed's solos at the end of his book, Syncopation, hence 50 Ways to Syncopation. And then it's got a bunch of drum charts in it. Speaking of drum charts, we've also got 55 of them on my website. So if you scroll up to the Limb Independence section, which is here, we're going to be working through these. I am intentionally practicing the Limb Independence patterns I am not good at. So you might hear me struggle quite a bit on some of these. And that's to be expected. 2 days ago, we graduated from one of them, so let's see if we can graduate from another one. We'll find out. I have this chart here that makes it so that it keeps track of the average, like was it meh, was it need a lot of work, was it technically proficient, like was I playing the ink on the page, or was it musical? So when this updates to where it's technically proficient or musical, then I will move on from it. But at the moment, it's stuck on meh. We're going to try this again at 150. Yesterday, woo, not 1,505. I could maybe go 1,500, but that extra 5, nope. Can't do it. Okay. We're going to play through this at 150. So what are we going to play through? Well, the pattern is very basic. So it's just a simple 16th note. That's it. And you're reading short and long. So on the snare and the bass. It's nice and blurry. You can do it, camera. I believe in you. Hello, Edwards. How you doing on Instagram? Whoops. Wrong one. That one. All right, so let's play through some charts. We're going to try to 150. And last time I had to play through it with the permutations first. So we'll see if we have to do that again. We'll find out. Let's see here. So let's do 6 through 10. Let's see, I'm reading your comment. Was there ever a point in drumming, rudimental concert, etc., where you feel like you made it, or were you always in the mindset that there's always something to work on? That is a very good question. There's different degrees of making it. So there's like making it at your school. There's like making it in your area, like your town. There's making it in your state. There's making it nationally, internationally, etc. So there's these different like levels that you can aspire to be at. And I've been at those in different stages of my life. So when I like felt like I made it at school, was when I became first chair of every ensemble my sophomore year. And that was after my freshman year of like not like being able to play quarter note part. Then my like, so that was just in the school. Branching beyond that, my junior year, I made it into all state. And so I was like, okay, I'm at least one of the, like, according to this one audition on this one specific day, I was one of the best in the state. So like that was cool. Then I made like center snare for the academy and section leader. And so I was like, okay, I'm at least good enough here. Then I got like a full ride in percussion performance university. So like all these like different achievements, accomplishments, like reaffirmed that, okay, I'm good in this context and within this group of people, like I am capable, like I have made it. And that continued to scale, but like eventually it gets to a point where it's hard to kind of measure that sort of thing. When you're just kind of playing on your own. So I'm not sharing this stuff to brag. I'm just like trying to give you some context just so you can kind of apply this answer to whatever context you're in. So those little achievements were like markers of success, but it never felt good enough because there was always like so much more to improve. Like I've been playing since 1998. It's like 26 years of playing. And you're going to hear me struggle hard in today's session. Like I am really bad at drumkit compared to like rudimental. It's like night and day difference. So I still haven't made it on drumkit, but in rudimental, like I've been teaching it for over 20 years now. So like I made it there. But then eventually, like when I started focusing on the education side more than the performing side, it was like, how do you make it as an educator? Like your students can do well, but that also depends on like the context that you're in. So some schools that I have taught at where the students could not afford private lessons, they were at a lower skill level when they started than some of the schools where like students had taken private lessons for years. They were at a higher skill level from where they were started. They may have made less progress than the students that I taught that were starting at a lower skill level, but overall, the students who started at a lower skill level may have still ended up not as good as those other ones. So one way to like assess like whether or not I was a good educator was whether or not my students were consistently able to progress over time. But then I won like several different like teaching awards. Like one of them was like a $10,000 award for teaching excellence in computer science. Then I won the Outstanding Dissertation of the Year for 2018 for my doctorate in the whole field of music education. So that's like an international level of recognition. So like I've had from my school level all the way up to the international level of being recognized. And throughout that whole process, going back to the original question, like I still feel like there's progress to be made. I still feel like even though, yeah, I am confident as an educator or as a performer, it's still not good enough because there's just like always more things to work on. Like if I work on a pattern is like while playing all this limb independence, the other limbs is 1 and a 2 and a, cool. But what about E and a, or 1 E and, or 1 E, a 2 E, a 3, a 4 E, or what about a different like 16 note pattern? Like there's always like new things that you can work on. One of the weird things about this is like there can be an imposter syndrome that can come with that feeling of just like, I always have more to progress. And as you put yourself into more contexts that make you uncomfortable and make you feel that way, you'll like, that slowly goes away. Like I completely shifted fields and went from music education. After I finished my residency from my music education PhD, I started teaching computer science education. And I had never taught computer science before, and I have 0 degrees in computer science. I took like a class, 2 classes, 1 class in high school and 1 class in during my doctorate. I audited a class on computer science related stuff, and I started teaching it. So like, talk about feeling like an imposter. But then 3 years into it, that's when I got that $10,000 award for teaching excellence. And then after that, created curriculum used by literally millions of teachers and students around the world that got funded for several $1 million. And all of that was with content that like I don't have any degrees in. But when I was like doing it, I was like, I don't know if this is good enough. Like I'm still waiting for somebody to call me out and be like, you don't have a degree. But I just kept like creating things that I felt were interesting and just kept iterating on it. So it's that constant like, well, what can I do to make this next lesson plan better, or this next instructional video better, etc. And just kind of slowly progressed over time. Imposter syndrome in this activity is such a massive thing. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. Like, especially now, more so than ever. Like, when I was going through this, like, I marched academy from 2001 to 2005, and then I got into a car accident. So my age out was 2007, so I didn't go march those last 2 years. But during that time, YouTube was, like, in its infancy, like towards the end of that. And before that, it was like I had to go find MP3s of lot clips, and I would put them on my like iPod Nano and would like listen to that in my car while I drove. Like I didn't have access to like TikTok, Instagram, even YouTube and whatnot, where you'd see people like just playing really good stuff. But the thing about that is, it's just like people who share their like relationship status. Like I'm married. I've been, oh, well, it's around my neck right now, my ring. I've been married for over 9 years and am madly in love with my wife. Wonderful relationship. And like, do I talk about it and like share it on social media? Very rarely. The people that I see that I know personally who like share their relationship stuff all the time on social media are usually in the kind of relationship that I do not envy. And that's no disrespect to them, but it's the kind of relationship where there's like disrespect and it's fake. Like what they present publicly is night and day from like how they behave off of social media. And that same thing applies to drumming sometimes. So there are people who, when they share stuff, they share one take out of like maybe 100 attempts of them trying to play one thing. And they're like, cool, that was the good one that I'm going to share. And then they put it online. And when you, as the audience member, as the viewer, watch that, you go, wow, that was amazing. I wish I could do that. Whenever I practice it, it sounds terrible 95% of the time. Well, guess what? It's the same thing for them. Like that same thing happens. So it's some people, when they come into these streams and they see me practicing, they're like, you're terrible. And it's like, yeah, I'm working on stuff I'm bad at. And so like they're not used to that. And I'm hoping that this process of sharing how I'm actually practicing helps kind of normalize that imposter syndrome to go, oh yeah, Jared sounds terrible too. And I do too when I'm practicing. That's just a normal thing. That's how it works and whatnot. Practicing my own today, it was tough. You'll get it eventually. Yes. Just give it time. You got it. Right, left, right, both. It's a good one. It's so groovy. It took me so long to get that one down because like a samba or like a bossa nova, it's so repetitive that one's easier in general than this one where you're just constantly changing it, etc. But yeah, when I was like first learning how to do this limb independent stuff, I was terrible at it. There's a video on my at the start of these right here, how to develop limb independence. This actually shows like how I worked on it. So Simon, if you haven't seen that yet, I'd highly recommend checking this out so you can see like the process that I take, like starting from absolutely nothing. So like very quickly to go over it, you just do this, and then you start with something where you're like just talking, or maybe just moving your hands, or drawing, or like writing your name, signing your name, etc. Just like doing stuff to like make it so your brain is thinking about the ostinato pattern, and then doing something else, in this case talking, moving my hands, etc. Practice Tai Chi. All that stuff is trying to get your brain so that you're not focusing on this, and this goes on autopilot, ideally with a metronome. And then you eventually, okay, now I'm going to do one limb, just like straight eighth notes, or like quarter notes, etc. And then you just do permutations, and then you go through the permutations that are on the website, and then you start applying that into these charts, and then you get to the point where it's like completely independent. So I highly recommend starting with this. Again, I'm not great on drumkit yet, but this is a process that I know works. Having learned it from people who are really good at percussion, like Don Moyo, the person who does the 50 Ways of Syncopation, also like Shi Wu, was talking about like how to develop independence with 4 mallets, and I was like, why can't I apply that to drumkit? So took that idea, because she was the one who was originally like, okay, you do a roll and then you just like move coins and you put the coins, so like, all right, now make a triangle with the coins, now make a square with the coins, etc. Yeah, so anyways, get inspiration from a lot of people. But yeah, going back to the original question, it's okay to feel like you're not good enough as a performer. Use that as fuel for your fire to continue to practice. If you felt like you've made it, like what would be the point in practicing? If you're just going to perform, then cool, you could just perform, and then like you're stagnant, you're stuck there. But like if you fall in love with the process of iteration and improvement, then that is like what will set you apart from other people. Really good question, and sorry if that was too long-winded and too deep in the weeds, but I like talking about stuff like that. I think it's important for people to think about it and to contextualize your own progress or lack of with other people. Like I was just listening to a Andrew Huberman podcast where he was talking about learning and how it's important to fail, and how that failure, if you can use that as motivation to improve, like basically uses more of your brain to focus in on the mistakes. And then because you're focusing on it more, you're reinforcing the kind of thinking that you need to be able to improve it. And then it gets better, whether it's like drumming or like Fortnite or whatever, like aim training or whatever it is that you're practicing. That failure can improve you over time. And there's like a lot of motivational quotes, like what's one of them? Show me a man who's like never failed, and I'll show you somebody who's never tried. Like the people who fail the most are the ones who end up succeeding the most, generally speaking, in the long term. I have failed countless number of times with my own progress. Like to actually expand upon what I was talking about, I listed off successes for you. I also did not make the drum lines that I wanted. Like I tried out for SCV in 2005 when they were doing match grip, and I got cut because they said I needed to work on listening in. So I went back to Academy after having been center snare and section leader, and I marched on in snare for the whole 2005 season so I could work on listening in. Going from center snare to in snare, from the section leader where like the core director would be like, no one can talk on the field except for Jared, which was like a weird thing to experience, to then marching on the in snare was humbling in a good way. Like, and that was by my choice. Like I wanted that. So I've failed a lot. I've not, like, even like on the research side of things, I was like received the highest award possible for the research award. But I've also had papers like not make it to publication because they just weren't good enough. I've like failed at teaching, where like I tried to teach a lesson and it just went terribly, etc. So like there's a ton of failures along the road to the successes that I've had. Like if the thing that's interesting, like if we go, whoops, not here. We don't need to hear me. If we go to my website, I publicly show my CV because like people previously were requesting it, usually researchers and whatnot. But this shows like the successes, and there's like hundreds of presentations, like dozen publications. Like there's all these like even like grants, like multi-million dollars worth of grants and whatnot. But what you don't see are the grants that like weren't accepted, that like got rejection letters, and you don't see the awards that like I didn't win. You don't see the classes that I didn't end up teaching, or like the jobs that I didn't get. Like I've applied for teaching positions that I ended up not getting, only to go somewhere else. So like these kinds of things, like when you look at this, like it's like, wow, I'll never be able to do that because here I am failing. Like there are decades worth of failures that went into this that led to this, what is now like a lengthy CV. And that's something that you don't see on here. And that's for everybody, literally everybody. Oh, pictures. That I've ever met who's been like a world class at anything. Like they have failed more times than they have succeeded. And that's a normal part of the process. Anyways, that was a super long answer. So I apologize for that. Hopefully that helped you fall asleep listening to me ramble on like that. But really good question. Come in with more questions like that. I like it. All right, so the pattern that I'm working on, because I need to remind myself, ding, 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 ding. Okay, so this is a 16th note swung. We're going to play short notes and then long notes on here. And we're going to attempt that playing through something that I am currently not yet good at. Let me turn up the volume so I can hear it. All of these play-alongs, if you go into the description, there are timestamps for each one of these. Oh, you can't see it. And all you have to do is click on it, and then it'll count you off. It's muted on your end because the timing delays. I don't want you to get thrown off by it. Wish me luck. My hi-hat's actually a little too close. A one, a two, here we go. Sorry, jump scare. There's a monster that appeared behind my screen. He scared me. A one, a two, here we go. Okay, a little rough, but it was better than it was 2 days ago, so progress. Don't believe me? Check it out. Okay. We're doing better. A one, a two, here we go. It's fluctuating right now between like meh and technically proficient. It just kind of depends on the pattern. When it ends on the end of 4, that's where it's messing me up. We survived it. Okay, overall it was meh. But you know what? I'm making progress on it. I didn't have to start with permutations that time, which is good. Again, progress over time. That's what we're going for. Ideally. Next up, we're going to work on another one that's even worse than this. I'm going to actually slow it down more than I did previously because it's still just out of control at 80. So we're going to do it at 75. But first, we got to stretch and massage. So let's do that. Take your sticks, hold them like this. Pull in, push through. Ooh, yeah. It's a good stretch. And go out the way you came. If you do traditional, rotate and hold one end, then rotate and hold the other end. Do that 20 to 30 seconds. I don't do that anymore. Now I'm going to stretch the underside of the forearm. Yeah. You could do it like this. You could do 2 fingers at a time like I demonstrated yesterday. You could do this on the wall. The lower you go, the deeper the stretch. And other side. So stretching the underside of the forearm. It feels good. Good. And then we stretch the top side of the forearm. For that, you just do it on your leg. Super easy. 2 at a time. 2 for the price of 1. Now we're going to do finger. Edward, so there's a quote that I heard recently from somebody who's talking about success. To kind of go with what you were talking about earlier. Rather than being a destination, it's a horizon. So as you arrive at a new goal, generally speaking, most people will create a new goal, whether it's down that same path or a completely different path. So for example, it might be a goal related to drumming. You accomplish that goal, and then you might continue to make another drumming related goal. Good morning, Jeffrey. Or you might be like, oh, now I'm going to have a teaching goal. So you're just constantly moving from one goal to the next. So like people with money, it's like, I have a goal to have like $10,000 in my bank account. And then it's, well, now I have a goal. Now that I've achieved that, I have a goal of $100,000. Or I have a goal of being completely debt free, etc. Or I have a goal of being a millionaire and then a billionaire. Like it's constantly shifts. So as you arrive at the destination, the horizon extends and you can see further than what you could previously. And you go, I want to go there now. And then when you get there, you go, but over there's pretty cool too. I want to go there. So it is constantly moving, and that's okay. You won't ever feel like you've arrived because there's always more places to go. And that for me is like kind of the fun thing about this. Like having had a career and just life that's headed in so many different directions. Like it's fun to like plan for like 5 years from now, like what I want to do. But it's also even more fun to go, yeah, but 5 years ago, I didn't think I'd be doing what I am right now. And 5 years before that, I didn't think that I'd be doing what I was doing 5 years ago. It's just constantly shifting. And that's cool. You never know where things are going to end up. Always more to learn. Focus on that. You'll go far. In directions you might not imagine. Thank you for the like on YouTube. Anyways, we're getting into Deep thoughts with Jared. Not super deep, but you know. Don't always talk about the life side of things, but it's important to contextualize. You're practicing, or you're gaming, or whatever. So I'm massaging base the tip of each one of the fingers, just doing this a couple times. This is the last massage I'll do. And then I'll work on the next limb independence pattern, which the next one, this one's rough. There's a reason why I got to slow it down. Okay, so it's swung cymbal, ding, 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 with hi-hat on 2 and 4. Okay, that's very basic. You read the pattern on snare drum. Ooh, wow. Super cool, Jared. That's super exciting. But wait. The bass drum. You will fill in with triplets. Whatever you're not playing on snare, fill in with triplets. So here's the pattern. If it's quarter notes, ding, 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 and you're playing it on snare, that's what you're going to do with your foot. Single foot. There's a reason why this one's slow. Okay? So that's what we're going to work on. I need to go back to my website, past the grid variations, past the chop stuff. We're now going to go into the swung charts, 60 to 99. So that way we can go to 75. And there's 55 charts here that you can pick from. Let's just go ahead and do 31 to 35. Sounds great. Just kind of picking them at random. Timestamps. Clicky click. It'll count you off. You'll hear the parts. And then you play along to it. It's muted on your end. All these play-alongs, over 1,000 of them, on my home tab of YouTube. If you prefer to stay on YouTube, just go there. There's literally over 1,000. Oh, yeah. This one is super hard when there's a lot of space in the charts. So hopefully this one is a very busy chart. Otherwise my foot is going to fall off my leg by the end of this, because it's so involved. So again, reading the charts with the snare, you're playing triplets on whatever the snare is not playing. 2, here we go. It's the long ones that get me. It's rough. I'm trying to keep it so that it's heeled down throughout this, so I can just work on the technique, but my foot is spasming when it gets to more than 5 or 6 in a row. So I might need to switch the heel up. I don't know. Here we go. Read it wrong. Now, you would never play a full chart like this, ever. I mean, you could, but it'd sound weird. This is maybe for a measure, like on a fill, and probably a lot faster than what I'm doing. But I'm working on developing the limb independence by playing through 5 charts with this pattern, so that way if I had a measure where I was playing this way, I could just jump into it, and it would sound good, ideally. Too many in a row. My foot can't do it. Mostly technically proficient, only on the very long, extended rest. We're playing too many in a row. Is it getting worse? I'm in a couple of days here, I'm going to order a double bass pedal, so we'll actually, you know, work on the feet more. Here we go. Flawless. Not a single mistake. I could not recover on that one. I just like lost track, misread a rhythm, and then was like, nope, it's gone. Oh, I don't do that kind of stream. Other people do that, but they're actually violating copyright when they do drum covers. Thank you for asking. Here we go. It's so hard. All right. Well, it was mostly technically proficient, and I was making progress on it. The hardest part, again, is just like playing so many in a row on the foot. I just don't have that foot stamina yet. Sweet. Next one. So this one, we're actually skipping one that we did last time. Yeah, because we graduated from it. Woohoo. So we're on 20.1, which is a variation of 20. And we're going to do it at 85 again. So what's the pattern? The pattern is ding, 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 ding. Okay. Short notes are going to be on the bass drum. Long notes are going to be on the hi-hat. While you play through triplets on anything that the feet don't play. So if you're playing quarter notes, ding, 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 then your hand etc. But we're gonna do it at 80 because I'm 85. I'm not good at this yet. Okay, weird pattern. Let's go back again. Let's do this one. Sure, sounds great. Timestamps, description, 85 beats a minute. It'll count you off after it gives you a moment to get yourself set up. Here we go. Ding, 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 ding. One, two, here we go. Alright, not bad. I could probably play this one faster next time. So far, I mean, let's not get too ahead of myself. Maybe the next 4 charts are going to sound terrible. Who knows? Stay tuned. We'll find out. Today's episode of Jared Plays Things They're Not Good At Yet. Yet. Emphasis on yet. 2, here we go. Hello. Oh, thank you for the kind words. Sometimes. Right now we're practicing stuff I'm not good at yet. Hints, you know, practice, try and get better at it, slowly. All right, chart 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, here we go. Thank you for the sub. If you're into the drumming stuff, check out the home tab on YouTube. There's over 1,000 free play alongs, dozens of hours of tips, etc. It'll keep you and I busy for a while. There's almost 3,000 hours of drumming content on my channel. 1, 2, ready, and... little like stutter there on my foot. My bad. Two, 1, 2, just goofing around. All right, that's a fun variation. It went better than I thought I was going to. Honestly, I could speed it up next time. Overall, the quality of his playing was mostly technically proficient. Had some errors, but, you know, we're practicing. I had fun with it. Progress. Ooh, we graduated from it. Nice. So this one was at meh. Go to 90. So we'll try that next time. We work on it. Cool. So this automatically updates for the average of how I'm playing. So for this one, apparently we did it at 150. Let's see though. Let's check the time. I'll do this one next time. So we'll do 2 new ones next time. So we'll do this one, which is pattern number 24. So 8 notes. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... While you read through the snare and bass drum in double time. So short notes. While you're playing through 1 and 2 and da 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 dum da 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 etc. It's deceptively difficult to practice. Another one is a songo feel, and I honestly completely forget that one. So that's number 26. We'll see how that one is in 2 days. But the next thing that I want to work on, the last thing, is double strokes on the foot. My foot is not good, as we saw earlier with that one where I was filling in with the triplets. But we're going to do this at 130 to 139. So what are we going to do? We're going to play double strokes. So we're going to do snare, snare, bass, bass, snare, snare, bass, bass. The left side of my body is going to do nothing. My foot and my hand are just chilling. And we're going to do this to an exercise underneath the timing transitions playlist towards the top. Okay, it's called Rebound. So you click on this one. You go to the timestamps. This one goes as slow as 20 beats a minute or as fast as 200. I'm going to do it from 130 to 139. So you click, and then it'll count you off. And all I'm going to play are the rhythms that are on the screen, but just alternating between 2 on the snare, 2 on the bass. 1, 2, here we go. Again. All right, 134. Here we go. Every 5 clicks, it gives you a little bit of a break, so you can get yourself set up, change to a different BPM, whatever you want. We're gonna try the next 5 clicks. Working on the foot. Here we go. Pause it real quick. TikTok keeps like putting notifications up that are blocking the screen. Stop it, TikTok. Okay. Let's keep going. And 30-second notes? Sure. At 20. I'll slow it down. I'm like a genie. Oh, is that your wish? Yeah, sure. But we'll do it on my terms. Ha ha ha. Slow it down to 20. Check out those 30-second notes. You heard nothing. It was flawless. I am hypnotizing you into realizing it sounded great. No mistakes were made. Here we go. Alright, last rep. Wish me luck. Yeah. Now, that exercise, again, you can find on my home tab of YouTube. You just go here, boop. And then we've got thousands, plural, of exercises and drumming tips. Just click on the header here, and then it shows you all of the drumming playlists. It's going to take a while, quite a while, for you to play through them all. There's like almost 3,000 hours of content on here. Lots of stuff. Just click on any one of these. And then there are timestamps that shows either what I was talking about in the drumming tips or in the play-alongs. It allows you to jump to a BPM. Now, the very first link at the top of every one of these play-alongs takes you to where I was earlier. This is my website. It's just got everything organized neater than what I can on YouTube. There's 55 chop exercises. There's over 900 grid variations. There's all of these drum charts that I was working on, both the straight patterns and the swung patterns, as well as a bunch of timing exercises. These are coming out currently. Members first, which just means early access. There's 417, I think, members first videos. So over a year's worth of content currently scheduled for release. Stay tuned. New one daily. Under 500 marching bass exercises. Almost 500 or 400. I can't number. A numberologist is not my trade. 289 technique exercises. And then here's all the drumming tips, the live streams, etc. If you enjoy this content, just share it with somebody else. It's free. Again, all these ones that say members first, they're scheduled to release. The members ones for the drumming tips, it's a new one every Friday. So this one came out this Friday, previous Friday. This one will come out next Friday. Don't use Mozart as an excuse to not practice. Ooh, inflammatory. Curious what it is? You'll find out. Give it time. I'm going to call it here, though. I'm going to get ready for a very, very, very weird game. It's called Hatuful Boyfriend. And it's a pigeon dating simulator. Or I guess I should say a bird dating simulator game. It is weird. Last time we played this, we dated a ghost bird. And then we dated a narc. Like a narcotics officer undercover. And then we dated an aristocrat. And then some guy whose mom died. So, very weird game. Stay tuned for the shenanigans today. But that'll probably be in about 20 or so minutes. Tomorrow, I'm going to be working on technique and whatnot. So, we'll be back on the pads. And then 2 days from now, we'll continue to work on the limb independent stuff. We'll work on some of the patterns that are new. Gonna get 2 new ones next time. Stay tuned. But anyways, great questions today. I hope you got something out of that. And I hope you enjoyed the free resources. But I'm going to call it here. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And goodbye.